Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how you can extract URL, currency, date, time, duration, email address, flight number, full street address, ship tracking number, telephone number, all these things from an image for iOS in Godot Game Engine. So basically we will be creating an iOS plugin with the help of Swift Godot, and with the help of that we can extract any of these details. So here you can see I have written down all the details. I will show you the output for only one of this, which is the URL, but the code remains pretty much the same. I will just tell you where exactly you will have to make changes. Rest you can do it by yourself. It's pretty simple. Let's get started. So firstly what I have done is that I have created a cheat sheet of a sort so that I can don't have to remember all the steps by myself. So firstly we will just have to open Xcode, and if you see over here inside my workspace directory I have just created an empty folder called Godot. You can name it whatever you feel like. I'll just click on once you open Xcode, just click on File, New, and click on Package, and here you will have to select multi-platform. Here you will have to select library, click next, and here I will just go back to my workspace. So this is the Godot folder, right, and I have named it as library. Feel free to my library, feel free to name whatever name you want, but do remember this name because this name will be used in lot other places. If you are doing this for the very first time, like creating an iOS plugin, I would recommend follow my naming convention. Later on you can change it to whatever you feel like. So I will just click on create over here. So once created, let's see. So first we'll have to open this particular website because this will help us guide on how to do all this stuff. So first we will just have to in dependencies we just have to add this particular thing. So if I just scroll down here, also you can see independent, we just have to add this particular part after products. So I will just come over here after products, I will just add this. Now as soon as I click on save, Command S, it will automatically download with the help of Swift Package Manager this particular dependency. So you should be able to see it. So here you can see it has downloaded it for me. So we don't have to do any extra steps. Next we have to add this platform, iOS version 17 minimum. iOS version I have kept it as 17. So here they have given it for macOS, but we require it for iOS. So after this my library name I can paste it something like this. Okay, then we just have to add this type dynamic. So if you see over here they have added this type dynamic in library name. So over here I'll just add that particular thing as well. Once that is done, we need to add this particular block of code. So again, if you just scroll down, they have given where exactly we need to add. So we need to add it after the target name. So if you come over here, here is our target name. I'll just add one comma and I'll paste this particular thing. Now I will just improve the indentation a little bit. Okay, so looks good to me. Then we have to inside our my library dots. So but in this particular in package.swift file, currently at the time of me recording this, Swift Godot does not support all features of Swift 6.0. so if you try to compile it with using Swift 6.0 you might face issues. In future I don't think you will face any issue. So you if just check whether Swift Godot supports Swift 6.0 or not. At least at the time of me recording it does not support. So what I'll do, I'll just change it to 5.10. This is the Swift version we will be using. Okay, over here once that is done, we'll have to write the actual bit of code. So for that you just go to your my library, open this my library.swift file. Now I have already written all the code for it, so I will just go to my sample project. Don't get confused, this is just my sample project. I'll just copy the code and then I'll explain it to you. So I'll just copy this bit of code and I'll paste it over here. So this is the entire bit of code, and here you can see firstly okay, I will just add this URL over here. Okay, so firstly we have to import UI kit. We require vision kit as well. Now vision kit will help us to open the camera. So once we click a button on our Godot Game Engine, it will initialize this plugin and it will call a method from this plugin. This method from the plugin will automatically open a camera, and it will scan for whatever you have asked it to scan. So in my case I'm asking it to scan for URL. I'll show you the code in a bit, but just giving you a gist of how the application will work like. So firstly, here you can see I have imported UI kit, then I have imported Swift Godot, then I have imported Vision Kit as well. Now this is boilerplate code which you have to write. Make sure you change it to your own library name over here. Then if you see, we have to extend this particular delegate, so that's why we have to create a separate class for this. So typically our code workflow or the main method is this particular class, but we can't extend this particular delegate over here. You will get lots of errors. That's why I'm not doing. So that's why I have created a separate delegate class over here called data scanner delegate. So it extends from NS object as well as data scanner view controller delegate. There are two methods, on text scan as well as on error. So whenever one of this is successful, we just call this method and it will provide a callback to our main my library class, which I will show you later on. Then I have created this data scanner view controller, which is from Vision Kit itself. Then inside the init, we are just initializing our data scanner view controller. Now like I told you, you can scan anything. So if you want currency, just remove this URL and paste dot currency over here. Don't forget the dot, that is important. But for now I will just keep it as URL. If you want datetime duration, enter datetime duration. Now what I have shown over here, make sure you enter it exactly the same way, because the IntelliSense somehow is not working. So here you can see that's why, or the auto completion, whatever you guys call it. If you want flight number, you can enter flight number over here. Shipment tracking number, you can, telephone number also you can enter over here. But just for simplicity's sake, I am only interested in the URL. So once my camera is open, we will try to scan one image, and if that image has a URL, it will automatically give the URL back to us in this particular on text scan callback. So quality level, you can play around with this quality level. I have kept it as fast. Recognize multiple item, I have kept it as false just for simplicity's sake. Then is high frame rate tracking enabled, I have kept it as false. And is highlighting enabled, I have kept it as true. Then here we just assign the delegate to our view controller. So this is the delegate, data scanner view controller delegate. And here I am just checking, created a one variable just to check whether your device actually supports this particular thing or not. If it doesn't, then we will just call this particular on error thing. So yeah, so this is just a helpful variable just to check whether data scanner view controller is supported or not. Then here I have defined a method called start scanning, which we will call from our main class later on. But here firstly we will get hold of our main root view controller. So this is how we do it. Once we have our root view controller, we just do root view controller dot present, pass our view controller, animated is true, and start scanning. I'm not really using stop scanning, because as soon as one URL has been scanned, I'm automatically stop scanning. But if you want a stop scanning method, you can stop it using this particular way as well. View controller dot stop scanning, view controller dot dismiss, animated true. Then here there is another method called data scanner did zoom. So this we are overriding from this particular data scanner view controller delegate. Okay, so but I'm not really using it. I've just given it just so that if you guys want to use it, you can use it. So that's why I have created, I'm just showing this to you, not really using it. Next, there is another method called data scanner as well over here. So if a data scanner did tap on, if you want, you can use that particular thing as well. And here there is this did add as well, which I'm using it. So once we recognize something has been scanned, then I just get the text element and I just call our on text scan, pass whatever is the transcript for our text, pass it to our callback, and I'm just doing stop scanning as well over here. Okay, so stop scanning, I'm calling it from here. No, it's not that I'm not really using it, but I'm not really calling it explicitly from our Godot side. So I'm immediately stopping the scanning once our item has been scanned, or even one item has been scanned. Similarly, there are other methods as well from the delegate. If you want, you can use it, did update, did remove. I'm not really using it, so yeah, I don't really care about it. And in case of error, I'm just calling on error, scanner becomes unavailable, and yeah, sending this error message back. Then this is the main actor, which is the starting entry point for our class. So here you can see I have this my library. Again, this should be the name of your library, and here we are extending ref counted. Here is our data scanner delegate. Here I have created one signal as well. Now with the help of this particular signal, I am sending the data back to Godot side. Now I know the data would be in string format, that's why I'm using this particular thing as string, but feel free to use whatever you feel like. Then here I have defined a method called start scanning. So it is at the rate callable. That means we can call it from GD script. So that's why we use this particular annotation. And on the so here I'm using task. So it is basically used for async await. I'm not an expert on Swift, so I won't go into detail, but we have to also add this at the rate main actor over here. And here you can see, I think at the rate main actor, that it means that we have to perform this on the main thread. So that's what that's why it was giving me an error. That's why I have to annotate it with at the rate main actor. I think at the rate main actor means perform the operation on main thread. Just do a quick Google search. I could be wrong, but I think it should be on the main thread itself. So once this method is called from the Godot side, all we do is create our task, then we initialize our data scanner delegate. Here is if the delegate is not properly initialized, then we return early. If the delegate is not available, then I am just sending a signal saying that scanner is not available. If you want, you can create a subnet signal for error as well, but I am just using the same signal. Once the data has been scanned, whatever is the data, I'm sending it back to Godot side. Similarly for on error as well, whatever is the error, I'm sending it back to Godot side. And here we just do start scanning. Okay, so like I told you, I'm not really calling this stop scanning, but I have just created this method in case if you want to call the stop scanning as well from your Godot app itself. But yeah, I'm not really using this method. So this is how you can stop the scanning as well. But if you noticed, we immediately stop the scanning as soon as something has been recognized. Okay, so this is also done. Okay, so we are done with all the code. In case if you want, I will simply scroll through this. Feel free to pause the video wherever you feel like and just copy this code. Again, like I mentioned, instead of this URL, you can change it to whatever you feel like: currency, date, time, duration, email address, flight number, full street address, shipment tracking number, telephone number, etc. The next thing which we have to do is we will have to go to this particular URL to copy this build.sh file. Now what I will do is now I will just open this entire Godot folder which I have inside my workspace inside VS Code, because for creating that build.sh file I find it very easy to do it via VS Code. So again, so we have to create this build.sh. So I'll just copy this, go to our library, create this, but you can do it via Xcode as well. I'm just more comfortable in VS Code for this kind of stuff, that's why I'm doing it. Copy everything and paste it over here. So again, cancel. So I'll just save this. Okay, now once you have saved this entire piece of code, from that you just have to change few things. So firstly, here it should be our library name. So my library name is just my library, and also I need to add this particular bit of thing as well, dash skip macro. Sorry, wait, I will just add it from my practice project, because I think I might have made some mistake in my cheat sheet. Again, ignore this, you don't have to worry about this. Okay, so this is the thing. So all we have to do is we have to add this as well, because while compiling it I was facing lot of issues, and this particular guy Stefan, he has helped me a lot. He recommended that I just add this particular validation as well, and that issue went away. Again, I'm not really sure what I'm doing over here, but make sure all you have to do is just copy entire thing from the URL which I have shown you, and then just change this to my library, and this should be dash skip macro validation as well. Okay, so we have created this build.sh file. Then we just have to open our terminal and cd to that particular folder. So I will just go to Godot, I will go to my library over here. Okay, and I'll clear everything out. So I'm inside my library and we need to run this particular command. So I'll just copy this, I'll paste it over here and then I'll have to copy this. Now I am only generating it for debug mode. If you are planning to deploy this to Apple App Store, you should instead of debug you should write release mode over here, but I am only interested in debug mode for now, so I'll just do it for debug mode and I'll just run this. Okay, now this will take little bit of time, so let it do its thing. In the meantime, what we will do is we will just open Godot Game Engine and we'll click on create. We'll just name it as my Godot project, and I will browse it to our Godot folder which we have created over here. So this is the Godot folder. I'll select the current folder and I'll click on create and edit. So it has created the Godot folder for me, Godot project for me, sorry. Let's just wait. Okay, once our Godot project is created, we just have to go to project, export, click on add iOS, click on this fix import. You will have to add your App Store team ID. I will enter mine later on, but make sure you add your App Store team ID now. If you don't know how to get it, you can go to this particular URL and it will tell you how to enter your App Store team ID. And after that, here you just have to enter your bundle identifier. So I'll just enter it as my awesome game. Okay, and I'll click again. Make sure you enter your App Store team ID because we need to export this project later on. So this is done. Then if you see over here, my build was also successful. So we need to use that framework class which we have been compiled from our my library to include it inside our Godot project. So for that we just have to create a bin folder. So here you can see this is my Godot project also open. Again, if you want, you can create it from our Godot Game Engine as well. I just find this easier to do it via VS Code, and I'll just create this particular file as well. And in this particular file we will have to add this bit of code. So I'll just paste it over here. Now I think if you see over here, it is not, I'm not able to open this from the Godot Game Engine. That's why maybe there might be any workaround, but just I don't want to get into that workaround. That's why I'm using VS Code. So you just have to add this configuration compatibility minimum. Again, this is boilerplate code. Now if you have generated release mode, you will have to write iOS.release, same over here as well. But here now we will have to copy this my library.framework and swiftgodot.framework inside this particular bin folder. Also, if your library name is different, this will change. Now what I'll do is I'll just go to my Godot project. Here is our library. Here I'll go to bin, I'll go to iOS, and I'll just copy these two things, and I will just go to my Godot project. I'll go to bin and I will add it over here. Okay, so these two things are also added. Alright, so once this is done, let's see what is the next step. Okay, so I think we are almost done. So here what I'll do, I'll just create a 2D scene. I will add one button as well. Okay, and I will just create this button. I'll click on save. I'll click on save over here. I will just add the button name as scan. Okay, I will just run this so that our current scene is selected, because I keep on forgetting this particular part. Then here I will create one label as well which will display whatever has been scanned. So we'll just create one big label as well, and I will just change the theme override font size to, I don't know, 30 I guess, and again I'll just save it. Now I will attach one script to this. Now I will go to our button. I will go to node, will double click on this pressed. I'll click on connect, so our press signal has been connected. Now what I'll do again, I'll just go to back to my old project which has all the code. I will just copy some code and I'll come back. So my node underscore 2.gd, I'll just open this, I'll copy this and I'll paste it over here. So here you can see that firstly we are creating a variable for our library. I have also got hold of our label. So this, if this label name is different, make sure you change it over here as well as, over here. I think this is the data type, so this doesn't need to change. Then here inside ready, we just initialize our library. So this is my library name. Again, change it to whatever is your library name. Here we instantiate it. Again, change it to whatever is your library name. Here we connect our signal as well. So once we get a signal, this particular method gets called. Here you can see, and we have data inside it. We convert it to string and display it inside our label, and on button press, I'm just calling the start scanning method, which we have defined it inside our Godot side. So if you see over here, now we need to just export our project. Okay, so the next thing which I have done, I will do is I'll just create one iOS folder over here. You don't need to do this. The reason I'm doing it, once we export our iOS project from Godot, it will create a lot of files, so I don't want to get confused. So now just go to project, export, click on export project. Now go to the iOS folder which we have created and just click on save. Now again, this will take little bit of time, so be patient. Once this is done, I'll come back again. Okay, so as you can see, my project export was successful. Now I will just go to the iOS folder. I will just double click on this .xcode proj file, and it will open it inside Xcode. And now you can just run it on your real device. I would recommend it running on a real device. On the simulator, it never really works for me. That's why I don't like the simulator. So yeah, once what I will do, I'll just mirror my iOS device now. Okay, so here is my iPad device now. Like, there is this known issue when I run it for the very first time. I always get this particular thing. I just click on continue. I don't know what this is, and here this I get a timeout. Now again I have to run it. I have to run it twice. I don't know why this is, but yeah, you might also face this issue. And also, given that we are inside the debug mode, the performance might be little bit off. So yeah, don't worry too much about it. Now if you remember, I want to scan URL from images, right? So what I will do is I'll just search for images with URL. Okay, I'll just go to images. I think this looks okay to me. Let's see. I will just open it. Open image in new tab. Now this is very difficult to show both of this to you, so I will just open this. Okay, over here, and yeah, let me. Okay, so here is the output. Now I will just click on the scan button. It is asking me for my camera permission. I'll click on allow. And here you can see that it has successfully scanned the URL which was present in this picture. Now sorry, it's very difficult to show you guys both the image as well as my iPad device, but hopefully you got the point. Similarly, you can, like I told you, right, you can do it for currency, timestamp, phone number, all that stuff. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. If you have any issues, do let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Bye.